How do you feel about battle royale games?
It depends on which one. The one I'm playing the most of is Apex Legends, which has a three-person squad, and you have a 1 in 20 chance of winning the match. So that's better odds than
Well,
Fortnite.
instead of something like Apex Legends, I was thinking something more along the lines like Super Smash Brothers. How do you feel
Oh,
about games like that?
okay, fighting style.
Yeah,
Well, I don't
yeah,
mind playing Super Smash Brothers for that kind of battle royale type of sense, especially if it's like in person or more, because how much you can handle in on the system. But I used to play. I'm part of a Smash Brothers group here not too far from here in Brooklyn, and basically, so we meet every Saturday or Sunday or twice a week for playing like 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes even 5 hours. And we beat each other, or we practice, or we train, or that type of stuff. So it was a pretty interesting experience. And you get a discount off of the burger and fries that you order at the restaurant, which is called Action Burger 2.0 now. So it's pretty cool. Check it out.
Okay, well, the reason I was talking about Super Smash Brothers, and the reason I called it Battle Royale is I was thinking of PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale that had PlayStation characters beating up each other.
I've heard of
There's
that.
a there's a new fighting game like that's been getting a lot of attention. I want to make sure I get the name right. It's Nickelodeon All Stars Brawl.
Hmm.
Basically, characters from Nickelodeon, even old school cartoons like Our Real Monsters to SpongeBob to
Really
and
stiff.
other yeah, and other characters basically fighting each other. And this game has been getting a lot of attention. Would this be the game? Would this be a game that you would be interested in, or?
Yeah, why not? Even though it's for kids, but I'm sure it's a teenager rated game, most likely. So for me, it's like I don't mind playing a game sort of that caliber, especially if it's in a format like a Super Smash Brothers kind of way. So you never know. There'll be good competition for Super Smash Brothers to go up against Nickelodeon. So
And actually this game is coming out pretty soon in fall.
yep,
I want to see if we can
2021.
get. It's coming out next month, October.
Yep, less than a month
Uh,
now.
and they have and I do have the game currently features 20 confirmed playable characters from 13 Nickelodeon series, with more to be revealed leading up to release. These are the ones that they've already confirmed. From Our Real Monsters, they have Oblina. She was the black and white monster. She
Yep,
was the female of the group.
the Cannon King monster,
Yeah, well, candy canes were black and white.
pretty much.
Uh, from Avatar: The Last Airbender, they have Aang. Okay, that cartoon is after my time.
Hmm.
Um, from Cat Dog, they have Cat Dog.
Uh-huh.
From Danny Phantom, they have Danny Phantom. From Hey Arnold, they have Helga Pataki.
They should let Arnold be part of the main roster of that from that.
Well, like I said, this game still has like 3 weeks before release, and this game's gonna have DLC if it sells well.
Oh yeah.
So even if Arnold isn't part of the day one roster, I bet he'll be in it at some point.
Hmm.
From Invader Zim, they have Zim. From The Legend of Korra, they have Korra. From The Loud House, they have Lincoln Loud and Lucy Loud. From The Ren and Stimpy Show, they have Ren, Stimpy, and Powdered Toast Man. I have no idea who the third one is.
It's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but the ghetto version in the cartoon series. Because you
Okay.
ever had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal? It's like that, but a very ecstatic, very weird version of itself, being all buff and tough. With biceps like the big ass biceps like Scott Steiner style. That's what it's like. That powdered toast man guy.
Okay.
He has Bill come with it too, so it might be a special move off himself.
From Rugrats, they have Reptar, who was their version of Godzilla.
Yes.
From SpongeBob SquarePants, they have SpongeBob, Patrick Star, and Sandy Cheek.
That's a good trio right there.
I think was Sandy like his SpongeBob's girlfriend?
If you want to be in a mature audience sense, yes. There have been us guys who are our 30s saying that Sandy and SpongeBob were like closer than friends at one point.
Oh,
They don't show
okay.
it. They don't show it on TV, but eventually we see them together having a good time. They like cry. They hug each other and stuff like that. So, hell, my friend who's also part of the apartment complex as a landlord, he actually had he made a meme saying that when you're about to give your out to your girlfriend and give her a hug in the bedroom. It was funny as hell. I shot actually for this meme, but it's funny as hell. It's a funny meme he made.
I think this conversation took a dark turn.
What's that?
I think this conversation took a dark turn.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, guys. Well, if you're over 30, you'll understand what I mean by that matter. So, but anyway,
Yes.
but yeah, rumors about it matter.
Okay, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they have Leonardo, Michelangelo, and April O'Neil.
Hope she had that yellow jumpsuit on.
And from the Wild Thornberries, they have Nigel,
Yeah, that's fine.
who was the father.
Obviously.
Not a bad cast. I did forget Nickelodeon has the rights to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so I bet we'll be seeing Raphael, Donatello, and maybe even Splinter joining the
Or Shredder.
roster at some point.
Or Shredder.
Or Shredder, or all of them.
But here's the thing I found about his thing back in 2012. While I was still in the hospital, I was listening to a lot of radio. So on this station called WNYC, they had a program bringing on one of the some sort of creator, marketer, or one of those two aspects of the series. They said they had rights to it back then and remade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles before the remake of 2018, 2019. So basically, this is a remake from like 10 years ago. And that's what they're talking about. So
there's a lot of. If you want to see like remade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they made a bunch of games on it. One game was titled TMNT, which was I think like the more adult game. But then they made the Nickelodeon game that was $10 brand new at GameStop, which I unfortunately purchased. And they had April O'Neil as a 10-year-old kid, and I'm like, what the hell is this that I'm playing? But my question is, since you watched Nickelodeon when you were young, right?
lots of hours. All that, Keegan and Kel, my brother and me, Sabrina.
Okay,
St. Jones and Alex Max.
Well, mostly this would probably be from. Well, I mean, what characters from Nickelodeon would you like to see in this game that hasn't already been?
Alex Max.
Wow.
Or Alex
Alex?
Mack, whatever her
Mack?
last name is.
Wow, Alex Mack. That I haven't thought about that show in years.
Yeah, she turns liquid. Like she can be a good transporter to like if you have it's a 2-on-2 at the same time like they have Marvel's Capcom 2, the game. If they do something
Right.
with Alex Mack where they could transfer each other's abilities and from one part of the map to the other part of the map, that would be a good ability right there.
Yeah. Wow, that was actually a good answer. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah, you have to really watch a lot of hours of back when you were a kid. Because I used to. Here's the thing, though. I was forced by 10 years old to study more. So from like 7 years old till 10 years old, I watched a lot of Nickelodeon, a lot of Cartoon Network, many hours. But
one franchise I didn't see any characters from that I would like to see if I maybe from the cartoon Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh yeah, that could be good. You use Heifer as like a tackling ram or some shit like that.
Yeah, or maybe just have I forget the turtle's name, but have Rocco okay, yeah, but say have Rocco and his two best friends, that way if this game does have a team mode, which I'm not sure if it will, you could have that, or you could just play, but then again, we also have to keep in mind some of the shows that we're talking about, they might not have the rights to anymore. which would be a problem.
Oh no, they have to have the rights to Nickelodeon. They sell What's Smarter Than Life or Rugrats or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, well, the reason I say that is because these cartoons aren't even on Nickelodeon. If you want to find these cartoons offline, you have to watch like a network like Noggin.
Or if you want to be a pirate,
Yeah, well, I said offline, or like I mean, for example, the show Doug was purchased by Disney.
No way. Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
when they had that movie, it was made. I'll actually bring it up, but I'm pretty sure like the only movie based on Doug was made by Disney. Not who owns the rights to Doug. Although Nickelodeon retains the rights to distribute the original episodes it financed, which still air on Paramount Network and in syndication, Disney bought the Doug trademark and rights to all future products in all media, including publishing and merchandising.
So Nickelodeon technically has the rights to it still.
No, Nickelodeon has the rights to the episodes they made.
Oh.
Disney owns the rights to everything else.
The new shit, whatever that new stuff is.
Yeah, but like if anyone wanted to put Doug or like or Doug's characters like in a video game like this, they would have to work with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but again, to say since they have like the rights to Rugrats, I would like the four Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil. I wonder if they'll be in the game.
Okay.
I just sticking to the cartoons that have been confirmed. Like Rugrats is the only one I really know well, and Hey Arnold. They definitely have to get some more characters from Hey Arnold. Not that Helga's bad or anything. It's just they got so many more interesting characters. I feel like one would just be a waste.
Of course, yeah, of course.
All right. So from games that have promise. Before we move on, this game out, Nickelodeon All Stars, has been getting a lot of attention. Is that surprising to you, or do you think maybe people like us are helping the game get so much attention because it's something from our childhood?
And the game refers to Solid Colors, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. My last question about Nickelodeon All Stars is: the game's been getting a lot of attention online? My question to you is: do you think the game's getting so much attention because of people like us who grew up with Nickelodeon and have fond memories of it?
Oh yeah, definitely. We relive the selling of the product to us as consumers back when we were kids. We didn't have much money back then, but my parents did. So they know that when we grow up, we're gonna share that with our children or with ourselves first, and then with our children later, or any other friend that's under 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's something that we'll cherish a lot longer. But after a while, I would say this though, they have like one of those online matchmaking programs for the game. It will last for a few weeks to a couple of months, and after that, it will die off because most of the players are going to be like over 30, and most of the time we're not going to have time to work as much play as much. Excuse me, because we got jobs, we got family, or we have to take care of the household, that type of stuff. So kind of like like that old Crash Bandicoot team racing of my Nitro Fuel. Dude, there was like so many people playing it the first 2 or 3 months, and by the 6th month, everyone just left. Especially in late at night, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I play, and it's like maybe 2 other people playing the game in the lobby. A one matchmaking opportunity. That's it. So as that
Well, I don't think that's going to happen here. Because we were talking about shows from our past, but they also brought up shows that I've never heard of, like The Legend of Korra, Invader Zim, The Loud House. I think the reason that including these newer cartoons is to appeal to kids of today.
That too. That's another reason
You know,
because
I think as long as the roster doesn't get too lopsided, they include the cast of characters, enough characters from today's Nickelodeon, and enough characters from shows that we'll remember, like Hey Arnold, Rugrats, the Wild
monsters.
Thornberries.
Yeah.
As long as they have a mix of characters from, say, both generations, I think when people like us are going to work and stuff, kids that really like Nickelodeon are gonna play this game, and as long as you're not getting kids that are just spamming the achievement list, I think they would play it. So we would always find matches, at least during normal hours. If you try to find a match at 1 a.m., I'd like to know what kid is up at 1 a.m. unless it's Friday or Saturday night.
I see.
Sure.
And also, too, the fact that since we're old now, we don't have to really play the game per se right away. I mean, we will play it right away for some of us, but we will tell the kids like I'm sure. I met some of my friends who are over 35 years old, and they know Nickelodeon like the back of their hand. And the way they put out memes, like I told you about SpongeBob and Sandy, they do the same thing with other characters as well. So it's kind of like these group of people I meet on Facebook, and some of them are part of my, like I said, landlord's staff whatever, because I meet them in the restaurants of our neighborhood and stuff like that. So basically, it's kind of like a one giant nostalgia moment for all of us as gamers, whether we're 25, 30 years old, and the kids who are like 15, even down to 8 years old. As long as I make it T for team, it can balance out the violence, balance out the quality of the game, the content. Might include some cigarette smoking, like they were the Jack's racing game. You ever played a Jack racing game before? I had that on my basically the Jack racing game was a demo on a demo disc I had back in 2005, 2004. And my ex-girlfriend and I at the time, she and I were playing at the demo, and she was surprised that we saw a cigarette smoking in the game. Like, what? Like, you don't see that in today's world, Yeah. So that's just one example, of course, the nostalgia of it all.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're gonna do anything that would get them a T for T rating. Most Disney games are like E for everyone anyway. I think cartoon violence they could get away with like E or at least E10.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not gonna, because the thing is they're not gonna anything that's too. I mean, Ren and Stimpy, for crying out loud, that's probably the show pushing the most envelope that has representation in this game.
Because I say it has to be teen at least. Ren and Stimpy, or our Real Monsters. Because think about this, Ren and Stimpy is like toilet humor, pretty much.
And Ren and Stimpy, I'll give that to you. But I watched Real Monsters a few times as a kid, and I don't remember anything that I would classify as needing to be watched by teens.
Well, okay, we have to understand the fact that things have changed over the last 25 years since last time we saw, these shows on TV constantly, and
right.
The SJWs, the feminists. The feminists are now mothers in this generation of us 30-year-olds, so they're going to be like, I don't want this game to be involved with my child anymore. This is too violent. It's too disgusting. It's too toiletry, too toilet humor. It'd be like Kyle's mom from South Park almost, from that movie, Bigger, Better. Just with no comedic relief. Yes.
I get that. Ren and Stimpy, yeah, I could imagine. You're right about that. I could imagine that because that show it was to be gross. That was the whole point of the show. The guy who created it actually made a deal with Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon told him, "Hey, if you do more touching episodes, we'll let you do more of the gross episodes that you want to do." And he jumped at the opportunity. I don't know if that show's even still in production or if Ren and Stimpy has ceased.
It's on an alternative Nickelodeon station now on Verizon's TV programming as of 3 4 years ago. Last time I watched it. So there's two stations called Nick and Nick Two, and they play all sorts of old school shit. When it's Stimpy at 3 a.m., Doug around 4 o'clock in the morning. Our Real Monsters, I'm not sure about. It's hit and miss because they don't tell the exact timeline for when they broadcast it. They put Our Real Monsters in that one of those slots one time. This is back 4 or 5 years ago. Last time I watched it on TV before I went to the internet fully for everything.
Well, I think I'm trying to look up the original one. From what it looks like, the show looks like it was on from like 91 to 96. That was the original premiere dates of the episodes. But I don't know. The last appearance, Stimpy's Pregnant, Ren and Stimpy Adult Party cartoon in 2003. Wow. Mm-hmm. So Ren and Stimpy have not been. But my point was, have Ren and Stimpy been used like were new episodes still being made, or was it all reruns?
Reruns.
Yeah. Now I know.
Only on those two stations last time I checked. Other than that, if you want to see the newest stuff, which used to be regular Nickelodeon, and Nickelodeon something alternative. It's called, okay, I know what it's called. Nicktoons and Nicktoons 2, if I recall correctly. Those are the stations that have the old school Nickelodeon shows.
And since we're talking about old school Nickelodeon shows, this was years ago, so I don't know if it's still current or not. There was a TV network called Noggin, which aired all old Nickelodeon shows. I'm talking shows like Clarissa Explains It All, anything from that we used to watch back when we were kids on Nickelodeon. Like all the shows we would recognize. Rocko's Modern Life, Clarissa Explains It All. I didn't see Are You Afraid of the Dark on there. Rugrats. All those shows were on Noggin.
Yes, as of today, I'm certain. Yeah.
Okay. Last time I checked, anyway. Yeah, like I said, I haven't.
Because when I looked at Noggin's website, it turned from like a regular Nickelodeon alternative to an old pre-pubescent toddler like show like that. Blue's Clues, Dora the Explorer like matter. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I think like when it comes to cartoons like that were on Nickelodeon from the past generation, from our generation, they went to Noggin.
And then Noggin, as of like 3 years ago, went to do small kids stuff.
And I think I wouldn't be surprised if like shows like Wild and Crazy Kids even made it to Noggin.
Wild and Crazy Kids, is that one of those game shows?
Yeah.
Oh, what about that big that jungle theme type of TV show?
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, with the big ass mascot, the big head and all that talking and shit. That was pretty cool. And he's like, "Well, guys, it's time to go."
Yeah, I don't even. Was that Nickelodeon? I don't remember.
It was Nickelodeon.
Okay. Yeah, Legends of the Hidden Temple. That was one of my favorites.
After like 5 years of watching it, I know it was reruns, but after a while, it's still cool to watch them go through the trials and tribulations.
Yeah, like first was like swimming through that moat and like having to hit the buzzer and like the first 4 of the 6 would qualify, and then
I was a fat kid. I was never gonna go past the first round. if they invite me to that show, I'll be the last. I'll be the first to go. I'm like, look at the fat kid on TV. That's Dr. King. Look at him. That fat fuck.
Yeah, you jump off the Congo net in the middle of the moat, cause like a big splash.
Yeah, the whole camera has like water and swamp like shit all over itself.
Actually, it's funny you say that. I remember watching Legends of the Hidden Temple one time when it was on, and that like someone ran to like hit the buzzer, but they hit it so hard like the bell, like the button on top of the buzzer fell off.
Really?
So they went to like an advertisement or something, thinking, we have the teams that advance to the next round. And then when they come back from the advertisement, it wasn't a commercial break, it was like a 30-second spot. When they came back from the 30-second spot, the host, I forget his name, was talking with another team, was standing with another team saying, and he's like, actually this team has qualified for, and the team that like knocked that I guess broke the buzzer or whatever was not in the next round. And I just remember thinking, wow, how did they hit it so hard that they broke it?
And the kid must be not even like strong like Hercules from the 1990s. The Hercules kid from the 90s.
Yeah, he ran to hit the buzzer and he hit it like so hard that like the top of it fell off. And I'm like, I've never seen that before.
Well, maybe it's made in China.
Maybe. But
it
yeah,
wasn't started at all. Our teachers, they told us that within 25 years, China will be the first economic superpower. And look what happens.
Yeah. Well, speaking of other TV, other shows from Nickelodeon, game shows, remember Nick Arcade and Double Dare?
I watched Double Dare plenty of times. There was all that slime and shit.
Yep. First, it was Double Dare with two teams of two kids. Then then like during the mid '90s, they made it Family Double Dare, so the whole family could join, and it could become a family show.
Oh yeah, that was good times.
Which, to be fair, the show was still just as entertaining as it was in its original form.
And I heard there been a reboot of the series. I'm not sure when though. They say 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but I never heard from it since. And stuff like that. So it's it's all iffy right now.
Well, the bottom line is, if you've been trying to get your hands on a console and you haven't been able to, there's nothing suggesting that your struggle's going to end soon.
I see.
So, so just keep trying, I guess.
Yeah.
We want to talk about this one. China restricts gameplay for minors to 1 hour a day on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and holidays. The time is between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. their time.
Yeah, that sucks for them because now it's like, now that the servers are going to crash like hell between those times of those days, especially the weekends of Saturday, a Friday night, Saturday night, and a Christmas Day night, Black Friday night, Easter Sunday night. It's gonna be a madhouse on those times of days.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, for a long time consoles were illegal over there.
They were?
I know they would hate for people to have like consoles that didn't connect online.
Okay.
So because the government would have no way to control it unless they went to everyone's house,
Which is impossible.
Huh?
Which is almost impossible because there's a billion people in China.
Right. Exactly. How many houses could you hit? It'd take days just to reach everyone once.
Oh sure,
So,
the military
yes.
is very controlling and very strict, but there's only but so much they can do towards the people.
Well, China is communist. That's why we don't want communism or socialism here in the States.
Happening still anyway.
So that's that's why these idiots that try to bring it, they don't even know what they're asking for.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think it's just awful because their restrictions were strict, but they weren't this strict. They just got more strict now. And 1 hour a day on days they say at a certain time, and that's it.
I see.
Not much we could say except don't bring that shit here.
Yes.
Speaking of idiots that want that kind of stuff to come, Kotaku wrote an article defending China limiting how much gameplay people could play. Basically, Kotaku wrote an article supporting China's decision and how China wants things.
I see.
What do you have to say about that?
Well, they are becoming political, Kotaku, that's for certain. They're
Yeah.
well, not whoever, but Richard Review Tech USA, Heels versus Babyface of YouTube. These guys mentioned it, saying that Kotaku and other game-related sources and news source sites are becoming too political, too one-sided, and too pro-communist or too pro-Satanist in a sense. They want everyone to have the same exact opportunities, knowing that no one can reach that at the same time at any given time. There's just no way. And I understand, we believe here in the United States equality, open opportunities, equal opportunities, but at the same time, not everyone will have the same exact fortune or the same exact opportunities. And people have to acknowledge that as Americans, each of one of us. Because even though I'm not changing the subject here, but although I'm not changing the subject exactly, but when I was working for Subway sandwiches, I know for a fact I'm at the bottom of the food chain. And sure, as long as I can buy my food, as long as I can buy my video games, as long as I pay rent, expenses, I should be fine, right? No big deal. But then these other kids who never worked before say that, I want free this and free that. Like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, if you want that free shit, go to Canada or even China. If it's worse than there.
Yeah. Just like the old argument, if it's so great over there, why don't you go over there instead of bringing it here?
Yeah, I worked my ass off to get the Xbox 360 back in 2008. It took me about 2 months to save up for that system. And by the day of, I got the console. I was so excited. I hooked it up. I played for hours, well, not literally hours, but I played for about a couple of hours, and then by the weekend I played lots and lots of hours of Halo 3 and all. And after a while, I started get a collection of games. Then I had to sell it, because of toilet paper and other economic hardships, at the time for myself. I was having a hard time paying rent with my aunt, so it was that hard for me to maintain a decent collection of entertainment. But it comes with a price. But with the freedom, but if you make things so free for everyone, no one's not free then. It's kind of strange. I can't explain it. Like, if you make everything for free games, free drinks, free food, and all, it's not going to last long. Because everyone is too greedy after that.
Well, if everything is free, no one's going to work to produce that item, whether it's a drink or a food or means of entertainment.
Yeah.
That's why they go whenever some idiot says, "Oh, well, this should be free." That's like, okay, who's going to create the item for free? Who's going to test the item for free? Who's going to,
And it has to be based on trust and anti-abuse. You can't just make sure. You can't just make sure that they don't get paid for nothing. I mean, that means is that every single person in in that country that's pro-communist, they have to do their fair share of work, no matter what. Literally.
Yeah. And also, if just to add on to that, if you're in a communist country, I think they give you a job, and I think you have to do that job. You don't have a choice of what job you work. You do what they tell you to do.
Pretty much.
And just to go on about what you said, like equal opportunity. Yeah, not everyone's going to have the same results in America, but look at someone like Oprah Winfrey. She grew up in poverty. She grew up in a real poor city, and look what she became. She became one of the richest women probably in all of America.
In any America's history, says Ida B. Wells or even Susan B. Anthony, maybe.
Yeah, and the thing is, for people who are going to say, well, Oprah Winfrey had a show. Yeah, she had one show. When was her show last on? The 90s?
2011 is her last show. Publicly on TV, on the regular TV.
Was that a rerun or was that a new episode?
Her last episode aired publicly to everyone, was 2011, and by 2000, after that, 2012 or 13, she opened up the Oprah network to other vendors. So she has a larger audience to pay for the channel on their cable services. So
Okay. Yeah, but the thing is, I was getting the one dates for her first and last episode, and I see first thing that comes up is Oprah Winfrey Network. But the thing is, okay, she had a show. It lasted, 25 years. But the thing is, she didn't stop at that show. She wrote books. She created specials like cooking, and she created other shows on top of the ones she was doing. She created, she created basically an empire. She was given a little help from the beginning, and she created a fortune for herself.
All thanks to the good old finances of networking.
But the thing is, since she can do that, anyone else of us can do that too. Any one of us can hit it big on Twitch with whatever show we want to create, as long as it doesn't, as long as Twitch isn't upset with us. Any one of us can create a show on any video platform, whether it be Vimeo, whether it be Rumble, whether it be BitChute, YouTube. I wouldn't suggest YouTube nowadays, but the point I'm making, with all these video platforms that allow us to upload videos, and Twitch that allows us to upload streams, we can create the next show, and we all have a chance of it becoming the next big hit.
Definitely.
That's now, will everyone become a hit? Unfortunately, no. But everyone at least has that chance.
Yeah, and come to think about gaming platforms starting to turn into these political, ideological platforms now for these journalists, you want to call them.
Okay.
This wasn't the case 5-10 years ago, especially over 10 years ago, because back in the 2000s when IGN, later Kotaku, VG247, Game Informer, they were all about video games, almost pretty much like 90% of the time, and at 10% of the time usually some stuff like movies, comic books. But that's very rare. That's very rare back then. But now it's more prevalent in the Game Informer magazines and now other sources. But other than that, in today's world, it's all about politics in games. And yes, there are politics in games since the beginning, almost since with Metal Gear Solid and fucking Power Rangers. See, the video game maybe, if you want to include politics in it, I don't know how. But anyway, it's always something trying to make it political, and it's like, yes, I admit that I put politics into my platform too with my video game gameplay and stuff like that. But that's sometimes, and the only time I do that is like with my my main YouTube channel and my BitChute channel, and that's it. And on my gaming channel, which I have a new one right now, I try to make sure to put nothing but game content on there, or gaming content, excuse me. And it's like, I don't want to be like, some hypocrite, but at the same time, they have to understand that that's for a niche audience. You can't do that for your entire, 2+ million circulation, or your 1+ million circulation of the content that you circulate on the internet. It's just no way. Now, if you want to do it for about a fifth of that, do a little section on the website. I said this is politics game section, and that's it. That's it. But don't put everything about politics for every article of every news source. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and speaking of that, like for people who want to become journalists, it costs almost nothing to create your own website, especially for people who make if you want to make like a blogging website or a vlogging website. Most of those websites cost almost nothing to create. You gotta pay maybe anywhere between like $5 for the builder And some websites, you can get like a domain for your own custom domain, your own custom web link for a year for like $6 for the first year.
Oh yeah.
So if you want to create your own website with blogging or with your interest, whatever it may be, you don't even have to rely on these platforms. You could always create your own. And creating your own platform that's for many people to use, that'll cost money, that'll take time. But for something for you, for your own personal space, and maybe friends, if they want to, submit content to your website, it doesn't take much to create it. And it doesn't take much money to create it, at least for the first year.
Okay.
So I think that's what a lot of people today don't get is, Oprah Winfrey made it big, but now it's much easier. But with all the technology since she became famous, up to today, it's much easier for other people to become famous too.
And if not famous, but at least be well mentioned by a select few people, and you gain momentum and making money through that audience or group of people that follow you on certain aspects or certain platforms and such.
Right. That's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're about to go. We got one last story. Emika Games quits after Steam's return policy is abused. What happened here, Emika Games, game developer, they released a game on Steam. The game takes maybe an hour, anywhere from like 60 to 90 minutes to beat it. Okay. Steam has a policy where they say if you played the game for less than 2 hours and you don't like the game, you can get a full refund. Well, since the game takes only 60 to 90 minutes to beat, people could play the full game, and then if they wanted to be dishonest, they could get a refund saying they didn't like it or whatever. And Emika Games said they had to close up shop. They couldn't handle all these refunds coming back because people played their game and beat it before Steam's deadline.
And they have to not going to sue Steam most likely or Valve or whoever the company is, which one, either or both, to get their money back or get whatever remarkable remarks from them, if you want to call it like that.
That's if the company is still available. I think Emika Games just is disbanded now.
So even though the leaders or the executives are still around, they're not going to file a lawsuit for the matter.
I don't think so because it says Emika Games leaves the industry indefinitely. So basically the 2-hour policy, which is a good policy. But for some games, it bit Emika Games in the butt and allowed their game to basically be stolen.
Yeah. It sucks to be them. That's why in today's world, the most games, like at least 75% of the games made in today's world are at least 5 hours long in length. In my perspective, based on my experience, because like I said earlier, back in the 2000s, no, not 2000s, like the 1990s, 80s, and 70s, when those platformer games came out, like Galaga, Namco's Pole Position, Namco's what's like the Dig Dug and stuff like that. That if you play it straight within a matter of like not even 2 hours, you beat the game. But now in today's world, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, what's it called, Watch Dogs, even Homefront, the Homefront Revolution game, the second one, that's at least like 7-8 hours of mainstream gaming, not to mention the other 40, 30, even 50 hours extra of side quests or side story or even side content of the game itself. So,
well, pick up and play. Well, these short games still have say. I think just Steam and like other online platforms, like instead of having like a set time limit, they should offer like half the game or 3/4 of the game and be like, if you want to access the other 50% or the final 25% of the game, you have to buy it with no refund.
They should
That's
have
what I
demo
think.
mode.
That's what I think they should do, because not only would it save something like Emika Games from going through this again, or another indie developer, games like Witcher 3 Wild Hunt that's a 100-hour game, you would get 50 to 75 hours before you had to pay for it, depending on how long Steam lasted. If they incorporated this system, saying, okay, you get to play a certain percentage of the game for free, but if you want the rest of the game, you have to pay for it with no refund. I think that's what they should do. I don't know what fraction would be a good fraction where people could get a good taste of the game and still find value in purchasing the rest of the game. But I think that's what Steam and other online platforms should do.
Or they can or they can just create a demo mode for it and say, play demo mode first, and after the 30-minute limit, you say you like to play the game more, pay for the full version, and that's great. But what I meant to say about the 75%, I'm saying 75% out of all games made in today's world is at least 5 hours long, like Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and what else? Games like Meat Boy, games like Master Chief Collection. That's at least 40 hours worth of mainstream gameplay if you want to play the campaign alone. So and the multiplayer is limited almost. It's limitless.